Up is just crazy. And not even just family. I have people who don't come to class due to the fact that they're bringing a friend to the airport. I'd say, hold it. You're going to lose money because take a cab for $37 and let them take a cab instead of losing money for class. Make class your priority. Make your career a priority.
But it's not only class, it's all the other things that
Absolutely.
You have to do, that you're spending that 12
Absolutely.
hours a day
And
doing.
then the other one is relationships. We get into relationships that are unhealthy in the sense that we are with people who don't understand or support what we're doing as actors. And if you find yourself in that relationship, that will distract you from your career, because you'll end up once again appeasing that relationship, trying to make that relationship work. If somehow the person doesn't understand and support what you're doing, then you're going to do your best to make them understand that, and that focuses the energy on the relationship, and that doesn't focus the energy on the career. Every relationship, I believe, needs a certain amount of work, but you have to realize that when you're in a healthy relationship, I believe when you're in a relationship, that person wants to help you fulfill your destiny. That person wants you to be successful, to help you fulfill your destiny. And that's a good relationship. And you, of course, want to help them fulfill their destiny. So in other words, they see your destiny as to be an actor. They want to help you do that. I think that's important.
Right.
Because there's so many people who are not in relationships and they don't want the other person to be successful. And sometimes, and I have stories in my book, sometimes they say, I want you to be successful,
right,
but they don't really want you to be successful.
And they prove that by their actions.
Right.
I wanted to talk, because I know we both share this, about tardiness.
Yeah, being late. I don't get that. I don't get that. And I realize there are some people who are just always late and have a bad practice in it, but you know what? It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my studio. I have a little slogan I say is, early is on time is late, late is unacceptable. Because if you start becoming late in class, then you'll become late in your auditions, then you'll become late on the set. Trust me, it'll happen. And I unfortunately have to address that many times with students. I had recently I had a student who, a wonderful actor who had great potential, but was constantly late. And I took him to the side and I said, you can't be late anymore. You got to stop it. You can't be late. You're walking in late and in front of the whole class, and you just can't do that anymore. And he says he wouldn't do that anymore. Of course, the next week he was late. And I had to remove him from class. And one of the reasons I had to do that, and I didn't want to do that because he was an actor with potential, but he was disrespecting not just me, but the other actors. Also, he was showing the other actors that it's cool to be late. I can be late. He was saying to the other actors, in a way, a nonverbal, saying, it's okay, you can be late too. And it's not okay. Being late is rude. Just plain and simple. It's rude, and I'm not sure if it's something about entitlement or fear of getting there early and having to deal with other people, or a sense of, you have more power. I don't know what it is, but late is not cool. There's no reason for people to be late in a business sense. Personally, if you're late, that's fine. Whoever you're with can deal with it, your friends, your loved one. But when it comes to business, and acting class is business, you don't want to be late.
What I've heard people say, they don't know how to be on time.
It's time management is the issue, and actors need to learn how to have proper time management. And that's a schedule. That is what you're doing during the day. And if you have a schedule for yourself, then you'll have a much better chance of not being late. The funny thing about actors, and just going back a little on the family, I just thought of this because I think it's interesting, is that we have these families who don't understand what you do, or don't support it, or that you're the point person, and I'm saying to them, you've got to talk to them, you've got to communicate with them. But one of the things that's interesting, and I think actors will understand that, is that your family can call you at any time, and you're available. Then go, I'll call them at 4 o'clock, I'll call them at 9 o'clock, because you don't have that set routine, that set schedule. So to them, you're always available. And to some, they are available. So I say, make yourself a set schedule, so when they call and say, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting, I'm with my CAG, I'm actually doing this, I'm going to do that.
Or don't answer the phone.
Or don't pick up, absolutely. But I think it's important to educate them on what you're doing, that you do, even though it's not a set job, a 9-to-5 job at an office, but what you do is a job. You get on the computer, you do Actors Access, you do that work, you do that from 10 to 11 or whatever you need to do.
With me. I want to read what's on the back of the book about who he is. He has years of experience in both Los Angeles and New York. You saw I had to adjust for my eyes.
Yes, I thought it was very good though, yeah.
As an agent, casting director, acting coach, and TV personality. How does an acting coach get to be a TV personality?
You know, I turned into the go-to guy when it had to do with actors. I've done about
get to be a TV personality?
well, I've done about 10 different shows.
Fit for Fame, or Fight for Fame was a big one.
Well, I've done about 10 different shows.
Fit for Fame, Fight for Fame was a big one.
Network and Saturday mornings called Character Fantasy, where a show on USA Network. I help people fulfill their dreams and destinies. And I did a show called Adventures in Hollywood with 36 Mafia. That was on MTV. And I'm also...
You have another MTV.
Yeah, VH1 show about Hollywood, where they've actually come into my acting class, which is interesting. And that's another 10-week show. And they come into my acting class, and it revolves around my acting class and actors in Hollywood.
And they bring in actors too?
Yes, I had half of the class was mine, and the other half was the actors they brought in. Because you know that reality television, what I call reality television, is manufactured reality.
Well, yes.
So, but the thing though that I'm pretty...
and it's important for the audience to keep that in mind.
Oh, it is, it is.
It is written.
But I will tell you something honestly. I don't know if it's written necessarily. It might be outlined by the producers, and they have to. The conflict comes from the editing, but also the conflict comes from the characterizations that they bring in. But I've always felt like any work that I've ever done on any of those shows, it's really been important for me to have my integrity, and so I've never done anything that I ever felt like was manufactured, and. That's the way.
So how do you help, like on Fight for Fame, those actors who were really, really green?
I'm good at seeing how to spot someone emotionally, what turns somebody, how to emotionally access somebody. And that was probably a lot what I did with Fight for Fame. I was able to immediately go to it, and the actor was able to respond to it. So that was kind of my thing that I did with that, which got them emotional right away and which propelled them into a scene. So it was very exciting. And that also was dramatic. So the producers wanted me to do that. When they first saw me do that, they went, oh yeah, I want you to do that more, because that became more dramatic. So I'd ask them about, you know, when you talk to an actor about their childhood, you know, about their mother or their father or their brother or their sister, something emotionally starts to happen with them. Especially if they're an actor who, after some exercises, you've gotten warmed up vocally, physically, and emotionally, then they're much more accessible to get in there and, you know, tap into their emotions.
I have 1 minute left.
Oh, wow.
So,
I talk a lot.
Well, I think I ask good questions.
You do, too.
We want to be sure in this 1 minute if there's anything that we didn't really touch on that we want to talk about.
You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that it will
this is
happen.
this is what, because with the family thing, if you allow those distractions, if you allow that comes from not believing in yourself.
Yeah, it comes from fear. Well, it comes from fear. And part of that fear is whether it's the fear of failure or the fear of success. But it all comes back to, you know, the Jason Alexander story, because that's a guy who believed in himself. He believed. Yes, it might have been instilled in him in childhood, but at the same time, when you're getting into the acting world, all bets are off. The playing field is leveled. Even though you've come from a childhood that you've instilled with confidence, or you're not instilled with confidence, when you get into acting, it's an acting confidence that you need. And the only way to feel confident about what you're doing is to practice and to keep practicing, and is to keep persevering at doing it. The more and more you practice, the better you become. The better you become as an actor, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the more auditions you will get. The more auditions you get, the more bookings you will get. And and that's really what it takes.
Well, I want to say thank you to Scott Sedita and Scott Sedita's Guide to Making It in Hollywood. You have shared so many great ideas for actors of how to take a hold of their life and how to take a hold of their talent, their confidence, their perseverance, and to stay out of the
3 steps to failure: addictions and wrong actions. The wrong actions is a great chapter.
The wrong actions, for me, is a guide on what to do right.
Right.
What is the top wrong action, do you think?
Unprepared. Actors who are unprepared. And once again, that breaks down to fear. You have an audition, you don't prepare as strong as you should. Why don't you prepare? Because you're fearful. You're fearful that because if you prepare...
How do you conquer fear?
You experience it. You acknowledge it. You say, I'm fearful that if I go into that audition and that if I'll fall on my face.